Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're all doing well. Well, there were twin hurricanes that came to the coast, and North Carolina actually got hit the worst. I'm sure it's probably going to be more footage that can be shown. So, this is the first bit of it. And it actually knocked down about 6 beachfront homes, and that's been the thing they've been heavily showing on the news out of North Carolina. And tomorrow, we're gonna look at, footage that you may never seen before out of Asheville, North Carolina, a year ago. It was about a year ago when they got slammed with Hurricane Helene. And in the beginning, they were pretty elusive about what you saw out of there. You just heard how bad it was, but you saw very little footage. So it's a lot more. And, that place will never be the same, you know? And it just goes to show you the Most High is undefeated. He is undefeated. He can use this weather to destroy whole towns, and nobody's life will ever be the same if they're able to survive. It was so many people lost in that, and after I saw a lot of the footage, I could see how so many would never have survived that. And remember, that hit them and there was no warning at all. So, let me go ahead and share my screen. So this is Hurricane Humberto and Imelda. And right now, it seems like North Carolina once again got the brunt of it. All right, let me share my screen. Okay. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. So this is footage that came out like over the last 28 to 48 hours. Thank you.
Holy, there goes the porch out into the ocean. So what's this, refrigerator? That's a nice refrigerator. I think this other pancake house is going to come down too pretty soon.
Yep. There it goes.
215, 41615, maybe?
Yeah, I gotta go.
So,
Jonathan Bradford.
Yeah.
It's an A-frame.
Yeah, hurry up, get the bus. Get to the court.
Get up here. Get up here. Trevor, I was running all through there.
Now that one's interesting.
Oh!
It's beating on the house next to it. It's probably...
You better get that camera on!
That's so sad. This smells so...
He asked, he's like, is the law out there yet? He's like, it said they were going to dispatch somebody to try to do ground control, make sure that nobody was, endangering themselves. And I was like, good luck.
Yeah, there's a whole list. All the other safe words. Never should mistake.
Oh, there's that one. Yeah. There it goes. I would not want to be standing right there. Not with all that debris everywhere. Oh, y'all better back up. It's gonna go.
Yeah, stay right there, B. I gotta get to you. Whoa.
Yo, what the hell?
Oh, shit. Get in the house.
Damn, all those new cars are done.
Heroes, you know that spot. That shit done up, nigga. We in niggas in the wet.
even as Imelda races away from Key West, dangerous waves, they're still slamming the eastern shores. On Tuesday, 5 homes taken out by the ocean as Humberto and Imelda has kept the Atlantic stirred. It's a sobering reminder of what a hurricane season can bring, even with just those fringe impacts from these powerful storms. Fox Weather correspondent Katie Byrne is in Buxton, an area where homes are constantly vulnerable to beach erosion. Hey, Katie.
Hi, Stephen. And they're being tested right now. These homes built close to the water. A 6th home fell late last night here in Buxton, North Carolina. I want you to take a look at what we're seeing. We were live here around 7:30, but locals warned that with that next high tide approaching later on that night, they expected another home at least to fall down. And this is the latest one to have tragically dropped. We're standing in essentially a debris field here of these now 6 homes that luckily no one was inside when they fell. They were all recently declared uninhabitable, I'm told, after Hurricane Erin caused really the same issue that you're seeing here. We saw other collapses happen just last month from that storm. We've been talking to locals about this who are essentially just waiting for the next collapse to happen. We're watching these homes sway. Some of them are on a slant. They're sinking deeper into the water and the sand underneath them now, but we're around low tide, I should say. And locals say the water, it doesn't look like low tide right now. What they heard yesterday, so many of them were here when those 5 collapses happened within the span of an hour in the middle of the afternoon. They described it sounding like a bomb went off. They said they were hearing window glass crunching, pipes were popping, all of this wood you see everywhere was snapping, and they said it all happened really in a matter of minutes. Now they're worried about the next high tide that's coming around 7 o'clock tonight, and they think more collapses could happen.
Insane. It sounded like bombs going off, windows cracking, pilings cracking, houses are just washing all the way down the ocean. It's pretty bad here right now. Summer was nice, truthfully, but the weather now with all these hurricanes coming in, and then wintertime just gets worse, with all the nor'easters and stuff like that.
The threat for more collapses is real too, because we're expecting those rough waves through the week, and we're in a coastal flood warning here through late Friday night. You're seeing what it looks like right along the water here, Stephen, but in the town, just a couple blocks in, there's a number of streets that have been flooded since we arrived yesterday, and just overwash on many, many roads in this neighborhood. I'll send it back to you.
Yeah, and it's wild. Thanks for the update as far as the 6th home. I think to have 6 homes in a single day, that's notable. It's one of those anticipations or expectations that this would eventually happen, but maybe seeing all 6 at once, perhaps not. I mean, Katie, I'm not sure what you know or don't know about the homes, but it's not like these are old historic homes. I mean, these were built probably just a few decades ago. It's just the fact that this constant erosion that we've seen along the Outer Banks has made this coastline more and more vulnerable.
I believe I read that of the homes that fell yesterday, the oldest I think was built in the 70s, and the rest, most of them seem to be built in the 90s. But locals have been saying they've been here for decades, but built with that knowledge that it's essentially somewhat of a risk to be right along the coast. Still, you don't typically see water right. People have been asking me online when they're seeing what we're sharing here, why were these homes built on sand? They weren't. The beach would normally be further out. That's where it was when these homes were built. But obviously things have changed, and we're watching the coastline kind of reshape as we talk about all these storms, Stephen.
Even the satellite images that we were showing from 2009, we'll show them again here coming up, where there was a, quote, backyard. It wasn't just the ocean. There was grass. There was lawns that people had before the beach and the shoreline moved closer and closer. Terrible to see, but appreciate the update. It's a windy day out there still, even today. Fox Weather's correspondent Katie Byrne. Yeah. Thanks, Katie.
Homes along America's coastline are being tested by rough waves churned up by Imelda and Humberto. We are tragically in a debris field here, where at least 6 homes have collapsed after those waves slammed into the Outer Banks. And now locals are waiting for more homes to potentially fall. You could see what used to belong to these homeowners here, many of them vacation homes that were rented as recently as a month ago. It's a bit unsettling here. We're hearing sounds of cracking and popping and essentially waiting for another one to go. We'll have the latest on Fox Weather.
I mean, at this point, I don't know how they're going to hire a contractor that's going to clean up all of this, because it's not like one house knows where their debris is. When 5 houses fall in, like, whose debris is what at this point? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When you turn that around, Jenny, if you could turn the total camera around, kind of give people at home a perspective, because you bring up a good point. It's tough to differentiate whose property is what. It's all combined. Is this isolated to just this portion of the Outer Banks, or with your familiarity and, of course, as a photographer, when you throw up the drone, is this something that's a little more expansive as you go up and down the Outer Banks?
So as far as the whole Outer Banks, that's a very
Large
broad,
area. Yeah.
large area. So I'm specifically on Cape Hatteras National Seashore. The Rodanthe homes have always been an issue. I'm not sure if any fell today. I haven't had any time to even focus on Rodanthe. I've been in Buxton all day. But it's typically, it's Rodanthe, Buxton are the vulnerable areas with houses right now. I know that in the past, there's been houses that have fallen in and like Nag's Head, but I don't know much about that. I specifically, know about Cape Hatteras National Seashore, and this is not normal for this many houses to fall in, not at all, but it's definitely, the beach is gone. There's no beach. So what's going to happen? They're all going to fall.
And Jenny, I want to ask you about the ones that are still standing. You had said, hey, this is scary because it's going to be an ongoing threat. Do you see any vulnerability in those homes? Because, I mean, when we're looking at it, it seems like they're in the ocean already standing there. That just shows you, like you had mentioned, there's no beach.
Yeah, so those houses are all hanging on by a thread. A lot of them are missing a lot of pilings that are holding them up, and they're slowly losing more and more. Some of the homes are braced and a little bit stronger, but for the most part, they're all vulnerable. And this week's just getting started with the weather, so I imagine there's going to be many more that fall.
Scary to think. And Jenny, I think we saw a video from you yesterday. It's not just even the ones that are on the outer edge. Wasn't there some water actually getting into the? It looks like a kind of like a neighborhood there. Could you kind of give us a sense of how far that water actually moves inland?
Yeah, so the water comes from these oceanfront houses and goes all the way across Highway 12. Some of the people I spoke to, I've been on the oceanfront all day, but people who have driven here have said that the road got closed and they had to park and they had to walk over here because they shut down the road to this area for a little while. I think it's opened again, but the water was flooding onto Highway 12 from the oceanfront. So I'm not really a great judge of the distance, but I would say probably a mile or so of water flowing through. And we've seen that before, but there was more beach then.
Jenny, can you, because I know you said you've been going all day long, you're trying to absorb everything you're seeing, you're kind of in shock. Can you kind of tell us the emotional toll of this? Because we see families out there, everybody's staring at this. You're a local, you take pride in what your coastline is. These are your neighbors, and now you're seeing it reduced to something that's unrecognizable right now.
Yeah, it's super tragic. Like I said, I'm still processing all my emotions right now. I don't really think until I get home tonight and sit down, the swell is actually pushing all this debris up behind me. I don't think I'm going to fully process it for this whole week. I'll probably still be processing this, to be quite honest with you. You see stuff on TV, you see it in movies, you just don't ever think it's going to be you or your neighborhood. And I've seen houses fall, but this is way more destruction than just a couple houses falling. So, and there's so many houses that are at risk right now, and so much, it's just so devastating. It truly is just devastating.
And Jenny, I mean, we have to think these storms that are doing this right now are hundreds of miles off the coast, and it's still able to create all of that energy and coastal erosion. I want to ask you something. When I was reading up on this, they talk about the beach nourishment, or I guess it's nourishment for the coastline. Can you kind of give us a sense for those that don't live there, what that actually means? And is it something that's sustainable, or is it a project that, you lose all of it every time a storm comes in?
So there's so many opinions about that. For me, I have documented the beach nourishment here in Buxton a few years ago. They're supposed to be doing it this coming year in the summer of 2026. and it's a little too late at this point. But so a lot of coastal towns, from my understanding, do annually, and they are annually renourishing their beaches. And here comes some more tidewater. And I feel like that's the only way it's going to last or be feasible and like financially it's a lot of money. So we don't have it built into our taxes here. It's more there has to be like bidding and money has to be, you know, pulled from the homeowners and the, you know, like tax wise, it has to be pulled. So it's a lot like of money, and I get that, but a lot of beach towns somehow put it into their taxes so that it's, you know, included, and every year there's money and funding for it. We unfortunately don't have that here, and it's kind of random when they do it and when the money's there. And I think if it was an annual thing, you know, it would actually stick around, and I don't think as much would be wasted, and it would financially make more sense. And a lot of people, you know, I get a lot of comments on my social media, and a lot of people think that these houses were built in the ocean, and common sense tells you that's not real, that nobody can build their house in the ocean. So this has been years of coastal erosion, but it has rapidly increased over the past, you know, month. Like so much so that I can't even believe it. Like my photos from last spring till now of Buxton are just, it's almost like not even, you can't even recognize it.
Yeah, and it's so important that you're documenting this as a photographer. Thank you so much for showing us. Please be safe. Jenny Coots with Epic Shutter Photography. Thank you for your time and insight tonight here on Fox Weather.
Okay, y'all. I'm sure it's going to be more damage over these next few days, you know, because they're still going through high tide and everything. That's why they're saying they're expecting even more homes to fall down in that same area. Now, I know when Hurricane Sandy happened here in New Jersey, it wiped out whole streets of houses. Whole streets went into the ocean. And when those people filed claims, the insurance company pretty much told them they weren't paying out on nothing. And those homes, because they were close to the ocean, were multi-billion-dollar homes. And they didn't care. They didn't get nothing. They said if they would have paid out on all those homes, the insurance company said they would have had to go bankrupt. So whoever owned these, good luck, because they probably ain't going to get much of nothing for them. You know, they like these beachfront homes because they're usually rentals. They'll rent them out. People will rent them for the weekend or for a week's vacation and things like that. Usually in the fall, In the winter, they're empty. From the spring all through the summer, that's when they make their most money off of these homes on stilts, because we got them here in our state. I think they're all up and down the East Coast. But hey, y'all had an opportunity to own these homes, and we have not had those same opportunities at all. The Most High, He will giveth and He will take it away. And it looks like He is taking so much away from these people these days. Hmm. Like I said, He's undefeated. If He decides to send some bad weather somewhere, man, you just better pray you can survive it. So those homes are all smashed up and everything, but at the end of the day, they may get a little bit of insurance out of it, but rebuilding that close to the coastline, that's not wise. One thing about these folks, when they came on this land, the natives let them know you can't just live anywhere. There are certain places you just don't live because of the natural disasters. And these folks didn't listen. So that's why every time you turn around, it's always their communities that are getting destroyed in these natural disasters, fires, water, hurricanes, tornadoes, because the natives told them, no, we don't live in certain spots because of the constant natural disasters that are there. But you know how these folks are. They think they can live and do anything they want. So I guess a high IQ ain't so high after all. So I just wanted to give you a little update on these two hurricanes. I mean, of all things, I don't think I've ever seen this before in my lifetime. I've seen hurricanes follow each other, but I have never seen two come in at the same time, together. And this is definitely a first for me. I have never seen this before. Mhm. Thank you, Curly Locks, for the super sticker and your support for my channel. Mhm. Yeah. Well, when I saw 2, I knew it couldn't be good. And they did say the Southeast would take the brunt of it. So North Carolina is the Southeast. And, look at what happened, y'all. This is what they got this year, double hurricanes. Last year, it was Hurricane Helene. So this is back-to-back destruction on the same state, North Carolina, you know, and both places hit. It's not very many of our people there at all. I'm just saying. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. And, be on the lookout for my upcoming live streams tomorrow. I hope to see you there. Have a wonderful night. Shalom, family.